Hello everybody, welcome back to another part of this narration session I'm doing out of 3 split up videos. Anyways, like I said earlier in the other that video that you may see, out of the other video that came out before this one, this is actually part of a huge narration session that I'm having. So right now I am already done with chapters 37 to 39, and well, now I'm going to begin chapters 40 to 42, and then I will go on to the next part of the narration session. But I treat the session as like 3 separate videos, so yeah. Anyways, when I said I'm done with I'm done with the chapters 37 to 39, I do not mean like I already have it edited and rendered. I mean I've just finished narrating them. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know how that one's gonna do, but anyways, let's get down to narrating, shall we? All right. Jesus, I'm gonna get another drink of water. It's also hot here. I might actually just start drinking the Coca-Cola that's next to my water bottle, if it doesn't explode. Anyways, here is Chapter 40, Team RWBY, from half to whole. Okay, it is in Blake's POV, by the way. Hey, kitty cat, miss me? Of course you did, because I missed you a whole lot. I listen as the hyperactive Yang enters with 2 shopping bags in her arms and a smile plastered all over her face. She's in her usual attire, but has a golden scarf tightly wrapped around her neck since there was a slight breeze out today. Although, since her and I have been together, she tries to pass it off as her covering her most looked at asset, meaning the cleavage she usually shows, since it's apparently only for my eyes now. She has an odd way of charming me, but it always seems to work. Gang, you've been out of the medical room for a week now. When are you going to relax? I placed my book down on my lap as my blonde brother walked over to the fridge, reaching into one of the shopping bags and refilling the door of the mini fridge with her energy drinks, and taking out a gallon of milk from the other bag and settling it in the center. I missed 3 days of my life from my Blakey. That's a full 72 hours. You have any idea what that does to a girl? I finally get you after who knows how many tries and exactly 23 tries, including your most recent attempt that succeeded. I cut him, Yang looking at me dumbfounded at my knowledge. Anyway, my first full day as your girlfriend, and boom, I'm not there. That's not cool at all. She closes the fridge after sliding her cans closer together to make room for one more, and walks over to her bed, which I am sitting on as usual, and hops up, landing perfectly with her head on my lap. As sweet as that is, I think you should be focusing a little more attention on RWBY, and more pertinently, her girlfriend, who is still out cold. Rose is officially dying. Hashtag wilting Rose. Anyways, I sigh. Think of how RWBY must be handling the situation. She comes by the room only once a day, and that is when she needs a shower. The only other times Yang and I see any sight of her is during classes, or in the cafeteria when she is quickly taking in a meal before disappearing. Naturally, Yang and I assume she is going back to the medical building to sit with Weiss, but the fact that this has been going on for over a week now has begun to slowly creep into my conscious thoughts. It's not like I haven't tried. You've been through the same thing. They won't let either of us anywhere near Weiss's room. Only RWBY. Yeah, and when they started throwing out threats, Professor Osmond had to step in. Never thought he would step in on something as simple as you wanting to see your teammate. Ugh, don't remind me. And I thought he was cool. I shake my head at Yang's consideration for someone being cool was to simply give her what she wants on a silver platter. Just because he didn't let you see Weiss doesn't mean he is not cool, Yang. Despite him running the school, he is very laissez-faire. Very laissez-faire. I find that to be very commendable. I reach down, placing my hand on Yang's cheek and run my fingers deftly along her soft skin. By the way, I do not know how to say that. That sounds weird. Eventually her head turns and I find myself having my fingers and palm treated with several quick pecks from Yang. To think someone who is usually so violent and aggressive could be this gentle, civil, and even rather cute, despite being in brief intervals, is something that I am sure is very rare, and if not, then it should be. Well, I'm sure Weiss will be alright. Not everyone can heal as fast as me. If we're going by the usual hospital duration to people who haven't matched with me, then Weiss has a few more days before she wakes up. I look down at Yang with a firm stare from my amber eyes, and she quickly changes her growing smile around and nods her head. Too soon, I take it? She asks, and in response I give her a very simple nod. Look, let's go to Ozpin's office and ask him if he can see Weiss. It's been over a week. Maybe this time he'll give us a break, I suggest, but Yang disagrees, and for the sole reason that she does not want to lift her head from my lap. Eventually I slide my legs from underneath her head and hop down from her bed with her reluctantly following. Ugh, why can't I just snuggle with my girlfriend for a tiny bit longer? She groans while hopping down from her bed. Because you've been smothering me the past week, Yang. You're worse than your sister. I'm walking over to the door, opening it up and leaving, with Yang closing it behind me and entering a small jog to catch up to me. Alright, so I've been a little happier since he said yes to me. You have no idea how tough it is being rejected. For once, I was on the rejectee side of things. Usually I'm the one doing the rejecting. So I guess I know how tough it is to be turned down now. But in the end, I still got you. She nods in a loud, clear tone that makes me roll my eyes. Yes, Yang, you finally have me. Although I am not sure about the appeal of going out with a former white fang and a faunus at that. I smile, feeling the mild anger that rises within her. Deep in the back of my head, I have always wondered why Yang ever found any appeal with me. If anything, I am her polar opposite of her in every way. Yet she's so overly caring to the point that she gets mad at me when I put myself down even slightly. The moment I finish my sentence, I feel her arm on my shoulder, and with a quick pull she turns me around and places her hands on my shoulders, staring at me with her beautiful lilac eyes. We aren't even halfway down the hallway yet. Blake, you need to relax and forget about your past. It doesn't matter anymore. I can't just throw a blanket over it and claim the rest of my life to be a happy ending, Yang. I've done things. Bad things, and in a large quantity that I can't take back. Things that I can never forget. And will surely catch up to me in due time. The only question is when and how long. I close my eyes and take a deep breath, recalling my informal leave from the White Fang. The moment I separated the train cars and left my last partner, Adam Taurus. I don't know about the White Fang. I don't know about what you've done. I don't know about who you killed, how many, how much guilt you carry, and frankly, I don't care about any of that. But let me tell you what I do care about, Yang whispers to me. By the way, I said it before, but I whisper just so I don't whisper, because I wanted to catch on the mic. I part my lips to argue with her, but of course that argument never reaches the ears I intended them to. Instead, she presses her lips to mine and pushes me firmly to the closest wall, which so happens to be the wall that also holds the door to our dorm room in place. Her hands are still on my shoulders, holding me in place with clenching fingers. I expect that to be as far as the kiss goes, but I am pleased to be proven wrong when her tongue slips past my lips and further embraces me in her affections. The gentleness she is known to show me is replaced with a slight aggressiveness that suits Yang much more. My heartbeat increases rapidly, as it usually does when Yang kisses me. Although she adapted a little technique of hers 2 days ago when she scratches my ears through my bow and has proven to draw out unintentional purrs for me. Thankfully, she chooses not to do that this time, but the way she is attacking with my tongue with hers is making my head spin. I attempt to gently push her back so I can get off the wall, which she slams me back into and restrains both of my hands by the wrists by holding them both with one of her hands and keeping them over my head. Wow. So that's where RWBY learned to be an attacker. Yang breaks the kiss and we both look over to the voice, seeing the 4 members of Team Juniper peeking out of their room door. Pyrrha's head is on top with John's head below, then Ren's and finally Nora being on the bottom, who was also the one who spoke earlier. I must say, Yang does exhibit the same technique RWBY uses, or rather RWBY uses the same techniques as her sister, Pyrrha responds, still looking at the two of us, and Yang still holds my wrist above my head, but I am far too embarrassed to utter a word. You can stop. You're embarrassing Blake a bit too much, Yang says firmly to him. Her cheeks aren't even the slightest shade of red. I am sure she is used to showing affection down in the open, but it is not the strongest department for me. I mean, I did kiss Yang at the dance, but I suppose that was different. We weren't really dating then, and people were not openly commenting about how she kisses me. Yang is an aggressive kisser. I know this through several of her aggressive lip locks, but I am put through the same mind-numbing experience nonetheless. But Blake was swallowing your tongue during the dance! Nora shouts out, making me look away and try to pull my wrist from Yang's grip, but she doesn't budge in the slightest. Yang, let go. Let me go, I whisper, but she is still staring over at Team Juniper. I said, that's enough, Nora. Her voice is much firmer than earlier, and I turn my head back over to Team Juniper just in time to see Ren pull Nora inside, and Pyrrha pulling in a fearful John. When the door shuts, Yang looks back at me. Her eyes are a bright red, but fade when I give her a thankful smile. Thanks, I whisper to her, leaning in to give her nose a soft kiss. It's what I do. She lets go of my wrist, and we continue our way to Osmond's office. Eventually we arrive at the large double door, but we are greeted by the outside of a girl with brown and pink hair standing outside, with her outfit being an assortment of white, black, brown, and pink. Being held by its shaft in both of her hands is a very intricately designed pink parasol. Being held by its shaft in both of her hands is a very intricately designed pink parasol. Sorry about that. She's standing a few yards from the door and leaning against the wall with her head lowered and staring at the floor. From the view given, we can only see the left half of her body. Who's she? Yang leans over to me and asks. No clue. She's not in uniform, so she isn't from Beacon. And that outfit is definitely not from any of the other kingdoms. I answer back as we keep walking over. Yawning! No! I'm yawning! Shit. We approach the door and are about to knock when we see something fly by our faces and gently press to both of our abdomens. When we look, it is the pink parasol, and sure enough, the one holding it is the girl from earlier. Hey, what's the big idea? We want to see Osmond. I am not looking at Yang, who is to my left at the moment, but I am sure she is giving a death stare to this mystery girl who is to our right. Relax, Yang. I am sure she has a logical explanation. At least I hope she does. I say to her without taking my eyes off of the parasol owner. My response earns a soft smile to the girl's lips, and she gives a nod of her head. I watch as she places a finger to her ears and taps on it a few times, the worldwide gesture to listen, which I do instantly. I close my eyes and begin to pick up on a wider radius of all these sounds around me, including the sounds of two people speaking inside Osmond's office. One of them is none other than the Professor Osmond, but the other one I have not heard before, although it sounds extremely familiar to me. It's fucking serious? I feel like I have heard it somewhere, but I can't remember. Osmond's talking to someone, Yang. We're going to need to wait, I say, and another nod coming from the short girl. So, what's your name anyway? I ask, still looking at the multi-hair colored girl. Her smile switched to a frown and she shakes her head. She hadn't spoken a word to us, so I am led under a basic assumption, but it would be rude to ask if my assumption is correct, so I decided to let it be. You don't talk much, do you? Ning asked, and I quickly shoved my elbow into her stomach, making her bend over and clench her stomach while dropping to her knees. Damn it, Blake! As insensitive as you can be, Yang! I turn around and give her a cold stare. Yet surprisingly, I feel a touch on my shoulder from the small form, and when I look at her, she shakes her head. I watch as she walks past me and extends her hand out to Yang to help my girlfriend up. The entire time, the small smile of hers plastered all over her face. Thanks, I guess. Motherfucker! Yang whispers while accepting the hand and moving to her feet. For the moment, we are all quiet. One of us because they cannot. The other. Wait, what? For the moment, we are all quiet. One of us because they cannot. The other to avoid angering myself. And I am quiet because I am trying to pick up on the voice of the woman talking to Osmond. I know for a fact I have heard her voice before, but I can't seem to remember exactly where. So, how long do you think until Osmond is done? Yang asks the two of us. Look over to the small girl who shrugs her shoulders. Osmond is unpredictable, Yang. Who knows? I respond. Yet shortly after the door opens and a woman wearing a uniform, I believe to be from Haven, steps out. She has her hair hanging over her right shoulder, and her eyes are a shade of amber to rival my own. I thought I told you to wait at our usual spot, Neo, she whispers to the small girl, ignoring the presence of Yang and I for the moment. The girl known as Neo immediately runs up to the new entree and makes a clear attempt for a hug that is shot down, yet she keeps smiling nonetheless. No hugs. You've been getting rather greedy lately, and because of you, Mercury is now making constant jokes, and I have threatened to burn him several times for him to stop, with little results. I watch as Neo holds the parasol shaft with her left hand and begins pulling on the handle with her right. What I spot is what appears to be the sharp edges of a blade, but before I can confirm it, the amber-eyed woman stops Neo by grabbing her wrist. No, Neo. As sweet a gesture as that is, there is no need. Now stop being a greedy girl and let's get going. I told you I didn't want you here, yet you disobeyed me again. Her tone is harsh and Neo looks up with a focused stare, and a sigh comes from the taller Haven student. I don't care if you wanted to be with me. I told you what to do and I expect you to obey, she says again while rolling her eyes. You don't need to be such a jerk to her. Yang raises her voice after being an onlooker to the one-sided conversation. Excuse me? I do not believe I was addressing you. Yang Xiaolong, was it? She squints and analyzes Yang carefully. How do you even know me? Yang asks. Out of the corner of my eye, I see one of her fists clenching up and I prepare myself to stop her should she lose her temper again. You're a bit of a celebrity, I hear. Mainly in the pits. But that aside, I saw you in the dance with your new girlfriend. I feel sorry for the monkey fondness and the sea-haired boy. Shame for them, at least. She smiles, flashing the same smile towards me, but it feels more like a menacing grin than anything else. You still shouldn't be addressing your girlfriend like that. She clearly missed you. Yang's words make Neo go wide-eyed and blush, but the girl she is talking to remains unfazed. She is not my girlfriend, and she will never be my girlfriend. She is a friend. Nothing more, nothing less. Now if you'll excuse me. She begins to walk by us, but as she passes, she grins again and whispers to me without taking a glance or a breaking stride. Blake Belladonna, was it? My eyes widen at those exact words. It reminds me of the mysterious voice that entered Weiss's phone over a week ago and started off with those same words. She's the girl that patched up Weiss. What does she need to talk to Osmond for? I shake my head from my thoughts and decide to walk into the office with Yang in tow. Osmond doesn't appear to be too surprised to see us, but it is currently on a phone call that he makes quick work of. You two don't need to be here. Go, he says bluntly to us. Not that exact choice of words. He says bluntly to us, and that exact choice of words makes Yang heat up in anger and annoyance. All we want is to see Weiss, Professor. There is nothing wrong with that, is there? She shouts and questions. I extend my arm as Yang tries to walk by me, stopping her from advancing. We are worried about Weiss's condition. We will appreciate just being able to go in, no matter how long it is, and just be able to confirm with our own eyes that she is well. I think that's fairly understandable for teammates, I debate, but he only shakes his head at me. That call I just received is from Miss Rose. It appears Miss Schnee is already awake. So as I said, you do not need to be here. Go see your teammate. I will call ahead to make sure you two are allowed through. Osmond motions us to leave with his left hand while he dials with his right hand. She's awake? Yank stammers and quickly grabs my hand. I feel as if my arm is going to be pulled out of the socket when I am turned around to follow the already building speed of my blonde brother. Well, that's one issue resolved at least. I smiled to myself, pulling my arm from Yang's grip, and before she has a chance to respond, I dart in front of her, giving her a smirk from over my shoulder. See you there, Blondie. I look ahead of us and I look ahead of me, using my semblance to form a clone of myself. That makes Yang slow down to dodge, thinking it is me, and her disapproval of it all is heard with rather colorful language. It's about time Sleepy Beauty wakes herself up. Alright, there's some mistakes, derpity derp derp, whatever. But I did my best. Anyways, that was chapter 40. Now we're gonna do chapter 41. But hold on, I'll be right back. You know what? Okay, so the best thing about this is that they fixed the voice recorder shit. So when you pause the voice recorder on the older version, it would automatically think that, oh, you're gonna stop it so you can save it. I dropped the water bottle cap. But yeah, like this one though, like it's separate. Like there's the stop button to stop the actual recording, and then there's the pause button for once. So I'm going to pause it for a moment. Alright, after 30 minutes of fidgeting around and eating cereal while almost falling asleep in bed, I almost did the last part, like literally just a minute ago. But I am back. Holy shit. Okay. My head. Alright. Here is chapter 41, everybody. How many chapters was I going to narrate? Oh, yeah, until 42, yeah. For this part of the session. Alright. Anyways, here's chapter 41. A Weiss Christmas. Guess whose POV is this in? Weiss's. Oh, the surprise. Durr. Alright, sorry guys, I might be sounding a bit strange because I literally almost fell asleep and yeah, it was savage. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever. Alright, here we are. It has been a very dramatic semester thus far at Beacon. Our team split into 2 relationships among partners, and on top of that, there was the odd power spike I received well over a month ago that gave me the ability to rival Yang. Upon waking up, I was startled by the sight of my precious dolt sleeping in a chair with her head on my lap, and squirming about in what appeared to be a hellish nightmare. While I quickly shook her awake, it reminded me of the time she took a punch from Yang for me, although this time the roles were very much reversed. Since then, RWBY has been stuck to me like white on white, as Yang I've been putting it, and for once it is a pun that I can accept since it is very accurate to say the least. And as much as Yang and I butt heads, I will not go as far as to stop wearing white to prove her pun wrong. It is currently 2 days before the holiday Christmas, and RWBY has been calling me non-stop to the point that I began ignoring her calls and disabling my scroll from receiving any form of signal. RWBY left 2 days ago to go back to her home in Patch, along with Yang and Blake for the holidays. The 3 of them show no regard for their education since they all have 2 days earlier than Beacon's holiday break schedule. Me, being the responsible student that I am, I took it upon myself to be the one to stay and attend the last 2 days of classes. Unfortunately, people had the same ideas as my 3 team members since most of my classes were empty aside from the students that stay within the dormitories over the holiday vacation. Among the list are John Ark and the rabbit fondness, Velvet. I wish those 3 would take a larger responsibility when it came to their education, but I suppose I could cut Yank some slack because she did not fail a single class this semester. Wow, that's surprising. Blake is fortunate with high grades that can rival mine, making it so 2 absences will not hurt her standings in the slightest, and RWBY has improved greatly since last semester. I never knew she was this adaptable, abandoning her old study habits and instead choosing to study with me through my effective, yet repetitious study routine. I began feeling bad for disconnecting my scroll, and make the choice to turn it back on. The first thing appearing on my screen is an incoming call. Motherfucker, I'm yawning again. An incoming call. I roll my eyes and select to answer it. RWBY's adorable angry face appears on screen, but I choose to leave my camera off for the moment. Why, Sneed, did you just connect your phone on me? Hey, that rhymed. Yes I did. And if you continue to be such a call-happy pest, then I will not hesitate to do so again. Does that seem like a fair deal? I roll my eyes as she puts on her puppy face. It's a trick that has worked on me one too many times. So my counter over a scroll is to just turn the scroll around so I do not need to look at it. I don't need to look at your puppy face, RWBY. Right now you are showing all of your puppy face. Wait, what? She asks with confusion. Nothing. You'll see soon enough. I answer before a voiceover and intercom interrupts. Why, Miss Schnee, we are approaching your designated drop zone. Opening the side door for you now, and we'll have someone come by with a parachute for you and your belongings. Excuse the turbulence while we enter a hover. Only for my belongings. Beacon has taught me a few things when it comes to landing strategies. I shout back to the voice. Very well, Miss Schnee. Don't let us hold you back. You're free to go. Weiss? Who is that? Where are you? Are you alone with them? Weiss! RWBY shouts as I refuse to answer, and instead I hang up on her, disconnecting my phone once more and placing it into my pocket. Dolt, you are so protective. You know I've been training my ass off with you. I shake my head as a gust enters one of the Schneedust Company airships I am currently in. I look towards where the wind is blowing from and see it is the recently opened door for me to exit. Motherfucker, I'm yawning again. And I see it is recently opened. I see it is a recently opened door for me to exit from. I walked over and stood in the doorway with my legs hanging out in the air with a 1 kilometer drop straight below me. To my left, I could see the back of the airship and the city of Vale off in the distance with low visibility. Between Vale and my current location is a body of water that cuts it off from the town I am currently hovering over. It appears to be a very self-sufficient area since I do not spot any massive amount of importing going on. Or perhaps their imports come in just like I do. Regardless of that, I suppose it is now my time to leave. I slide myself off of the airship and begin to drop straight down. The wind in my face is exhilarating, and the feeling of my French braid flying behind me brings a slight smile to my lips. I become lost in this moment of freedom from the world and almost forget that I am free falling to what will be a certain death if I do not begin my landing strategy. Do your thing, Weiss. I close my eyes and begin focusing my aura, forming a glyph far below me. At this speed, I will break my legs if I hit my glyph, but thanks to a little practice, I made a slight discovery. I can make my glyphs intangible. I smile as I successfully go right through the first glyph, with my speed reducing dramatically, although it picks up again instantly during my free fall. Alright, now let's come to a stop. Looks like I have about 400 meters left. I smile and focus my aura once more, making a steady path of glyphs directly below me, all of them equal distance apart. I feel myself slowing down to a normal pace as I constantly pass through each glyph. When I am 50 meters above the ground, I make my next glyph solid. When I land on it, I take a seat and look at the two-story house, excluding the slight extra height which could be for the attic directly below me. It appears to be very well kept. It has a front and back patio, with a few windows decorating the exterior. The house itself has a triangulated roof with a single chimney that is made with red brick. The house is coated with professionally placed paneling that are a creamish color. The tiles of the roof are a red color to rival that of the chimney. All in all, it is a very average house, but I could care less about what the house looks like. I make my glyph disappear, but maintain my sitting position as one more only a meter below the first catches me. I do so again but switch to a standing position, and the next glyph I land on is actually 10 meters below. I continue this until I come to a silent landing and make my way to the front door. The front patio holds up its awning with white wooden pillars, while the floor of the patio itself is actually cement. Nothing too classy, but I suppose it is easier to clean when there is a mess. Directly ahead of me is a white door that is predominantly glass, with the framing existing around it to hold it in place. By the way, my brother came back, I might have to stop. The glass has a rather intricate design on the front. It takes me a moment to realize that it is actually Yang and RWBY's symbols overlapping each other to become one unique work of art. I don't know how that works. Gotta think about that. I'm standing in front of the home of RWBY Rose and Yang Xiaolong. Needless to say, I am very nervous, and finally my nerves catch up to me while I stand in front of the door. It's fine. If both of them take after their dad in any way, then at least he should be very social, correct? Who am I kidding? They both look like nothing to each other. Clearly one or both of them takes after their mother. I shouldn't have come. Hold on, you two. I gotta fetch something from town. I hear the familiar voice of the blonde brother inside. Bring me some milk while you're at it. The relaxed voice of Blake whispers through the door, barely audible to me. Oh, and get me some cookies and strawberries. And there is the voice of my precious dolt. Would you like ice cream too? You've been moping ever since the ice cream hung up on you. I can feel my heart drop at Yang's words. I should just turn around and leave right now. Weiss, you're just the biggest idiot there is. But I want to stay here. RWBY and Yang both made it clear to me that there is an extra room that can be used. But what happens if that offer is no longer available since I turned them down far more than a few times? I want to spend some of my vacation here. I feel a small flow of aura wash over me and calm my nerves. Since I woke up from my battle with Yang, there has been an absence of the voice in my head. Although whenever I get those feelings of sorrow and determination, I can feel a strange warmth, a reassuring warmth that fills me and allows me to feel much more tranquil. My manifestation is gone, but the desire for her, me, is not gone. It makes its presence known when needed. Alright, Weiss. All you need to do is knock, right? I raise my hand, balling it into a fist to strike one of the edges of the door so I do not risk damaging the glass. But before I do, the door opens up and Yang is standing there staring at me for a moment. She looks at me, then over her shoulder, and back at me with a smile on her lips. Well played, Weiss. Here I thought you went back to being Weiss cold. The puns! I feel a large blush coat my cheeks and I break sight with Yang. I still feel very nervous. Our dad's not home right now. He took off with Uncle Crow for some odd jobs. Let's go inside and say hey to Ruby and Blake. Repair one of those fancy gloves you used in our fight. Otherwise, Ruby will break your ribs when she tackles you. That is not exciting to hear. Yang smirks, placing a heavy hand on my shoulder while she shimmies by me and leaves towards wherever. I have never been to Patch, so I'm pretty much a lost tourist. For now, at least. Why is there still a breeze? Damn Yang for leaving the door open. I look into the house and see Blake turning the corner and going wide-eyed at seeing me. She offers me a smile and nods her head. Alright, come on, she whispers as she approaches and grabs me by the arm, tugging me inside and shutting the door behind me. Damn it, you're cold. What the hell, Weiss? Well, I guess a 1 kilometer free fall will do that to you. I ask one in state. You're such a tsundere, I swear, Blake whispers with a smile across her face. She shakes her head and turns around, walking straight ahead of her until a doorway to her right is available for her to disappear behind. Ruby, someone is at the door for you. It's Weiss. Not you two, Blake. Why can't you and Yang just leave me alone? At least you two are here together. It's not fair. Hey, Ruby pout. Just go answer the door, Little Red. Sheesh, Blake says with annoyance in her voice. No, I don't wanna. I hear Ruby groan before making muffled cries. Oh, now you bury your face into the sofa. Very classy, Ruby Rose. Weiss, when you finally get the ability to walk, care to come in? Stop it, Blake, Ruby says before her voice becomes muffled again. I take a deep breath, finding the courage to step forward and turn right into the doorway. Straight ahead of me is a large flat-screen television mounted to the wall. To my right is in the neat corner of the room is Blake sitting back in a black leather recliner. In the far corner room to my right is a tall glass cabinet with many pictures of Ruby, Yang, and the two of them with a tall man with eyes that match Yang's. He is very well shaven with short blonde hair and appears to always dress casual, regardless of what anybody else in the picture is wearing. I assume that to be their father. There are countless more pictures there with several different people, but I am not so interested to look at them anymore at this moment. By the way, that was my sister. Instead, I look to the left, and against the near wall is a large 3-cushion black leather sofa. Hanging over the nearest armrest is Ruby's bare feet. Along the far end of her head is buried into a cushion as she mops. I step towards her, deciding to give her foot a poke. Leave me alone, Blake, she shouts and kicks at my hand. And your hand is freezing cold. Did you touch ice? No, I touched Weiss, actually, Blake shouts from across the room. Ruby, you are such a helpless dolt. Wait, how did you poke me all the way from over there? How'd you poke me from all the way over there? Ruby lifts her head, rolling over onto her back. She expected to have a clear voice of Blake, but instead I am standing there, obstructing her view. Weiss? How did you get here? 1 kilometer drop from a company airship. You have your address written on our registration papers. Since I am your partner, I have full access to them. I smile, and as I reach forward to give Ruby a hug, she wraps her legs around my waist and pulls me on top of her. Not a moment sooner than I am on top of Ruby does she plaster me in kisses. I scream around in her grip, trying to get myself free, but eventually she finds her mark, as she usually does. The second her lips connect to mine, my struggling stops and I melt into her arms. I can feel the shivers within her body, but considering my body is much colder than normal, I am surprised she's even able to bear having me against her. It's good seeing you two back in each other's arms, Blake says from across the room. Logically, neither one of us responded. Ruby refuses to pull her lips from mine and keeps making attempts to slide her tongue into my lips that I fight off to the best of my ability. She makes audible Alright. I don't know. A disapproval each I don't know. A disapproval each time I fought off the attempts. Eventually she changes up her tactics and reaches around me and places a hand on my rear. Wait, what? The moment I gasp out in surprise, she sends her tongue between my lips and deepens our kiss. Ruby now has me in her love lock, as she likes to call it. I can feel her heartbeat and mine begin to synchronize, and my movements begin adapting to hers. When she leans in further, so do I. When she pulls her lips back slightly, I do the same. It becomes a game between us, a game of copycat that could go on forever. A shiver erupts up my spine when Ruby's hand remains lingering on my rear with no signs of moving away despite her already having what she wanted. Instead, I feel her other hand reach around and grasp the other cheek, but only for a second before she gives it a soft tap and brings both of her hands underneath herself to push me up by the shoulders and break our kiss. Don't you ever hang up on me, Kay? She asks with that cheery smile on her lips. Her silver eyes softens to look at me with a caring gaze. Alright, here we go. Her silver eyes softens to look at me with a caring gaze. Well, I had to jump out the airship. Not like I can do that while I'm talking to you, I counter, returning her smile. As sweet as you two are, I guess I should say that Ruby is wearing black with red lined panties. Weiss is wearing ice blue with white lined panties. Serves you two right for wearing your combat skirts, Blake interrupts. Make me roll off of Ruby and onto the floor, reaching for my skirt to pull it down to make sure it is covering everything. Ruby stays on the couch and does the same with her skirt. Really, Blake? You couldn't let it slide for a few more minutes? Ruby pouts, and at the same time the door opens and Yang enters with several bags in her arms. Actually, I waited until the last possible moment. Welcome back, Yang. Blake smiles as Yang walks past the doorway and continues going straight ahead to where the kitchen is. How long were we like that? I asked of Blake, my cheeks starting to redden. About 45 minutes. I watched 2 episodes of Claymore on my scroll while you two were busy. Blake answers with a shrug while Ruby groans and pouts for some reason. Claymore? I ask. It's just awesome anime. It's not like the fucking explosive or something. These girls have silver eyes just like me, and they're just so fast and badass, but they're a half monster, yet they kill the monsters they made up from, and it's just sword swingy, bloody epicness. Ruby shouts while she carefully slides her feet to the floor and stands up. She steps around me and holds out her hand to help me up. Only you two, I swear. Alright, I smile, grasping Ruby's hand to stand up. Let's go back to the kitchen and help out Yang, Ruby says to me. And I nod my head, beginning to follow. However, she pauses as we reach the doorway that links the living room to the hallway, and grins at me as if she just achieved some master plan. I got you, Weiss. Ruby says with a smirk, and I let out a confused grunt. What the hell are you talking about, dolt? I look at her, thinking she has been eating far too many cookies. Look up, she says simply, and when I do, I see a mistletoe hanging in the doorway. In the same moment, I facepalm myself. Dolt, you already got your kiss. Nice try. I begin to pass her, but she taps me on the shoulder. Yet when I turn to look, she is gone. What the? Ruby? I ask, but seconds later I feel a touch on my right shoulder. I turn to my other side, yet all I see are rose petals falling to the ground. Why is she using her semblance on me? Again there's a poke, and I return to the doorway, angered to yet again not see her there. Ruby Rose, I am going to help your sister. Now stop it! I growl, but when I turn my head to head towards the kitchen, her lips are waiting for me and clash with mine. Once again, I am caught by her, but my anger surpasses anything. I gently reach my arms out around her neck, but just before I could tie my grip on her and give her a lesson to remember, she disappears in a gust of wind to some other area of the house. Ruby Rose, when I get my hands on you! I scream out, but my shouting is drowned out by the combined laughs of Blake from the living room and Yang from the kitchen. I take a deep breath and walk over to the kitchen, kneeling down to help pull out the several groceries Yang bought. We begin taking out everything, from packs of Monster Energy, copyright infringement by the way, to a gallon of milk, even a pack of cookies and a container of strawberries. Oh, by the way, the irony was that we were talking about this last night, George and I, and I don't think people really, I don't think companies really care about fan fictions using their stuff because it's non-profit. So it doesn't matter. But I mean, it does give it publicity. Sponsored by Monster Energy. To a gallon of milk, even a pack of cookies and a container of strawberries. There is, however, one thing that I do not recall being asked for by anyone that has seen one of the bags. Why did you buy this, Yang? I ask as I look into the blonde's lilac eyes. Oh, that. I thought it was something you and Ruby would like. Yang looks at me with a smirk. Are you going to use these as an excuse to punch me later? Nope. I took the strawberry ones you never used, so I'll be sharing them with Blake later. So those are yours as payment. I smile, starting to blush a little as I take the small box and put it in my pocket for later. Although I'm a bit nervous about meeting Ruby and Yang's father. Hopefully, it all goes alright. Hopefully all goes right. I mean, fucking shit, it's my fault right there. Alright. Sorry. There's a bunch of interruptions in that chapter. Not my fault. It's natural. Alright, anyways. I'm not going to say anything about that after that. But we are going to do the last chapter of this part of the session. Anyways, here's chapter 42. Bird's Eye View. And some random POV, or as you guys are reading along to this, like I said last video, question mark, question mark, question mark, which stands for unknown. Oh, never mind. I think I already know who it is. Hello, my roses. So this is... okay. I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. It's a warning. Just a disclaimer. Well, and a warning too, because it's mostly a warning out of this. This chapter is probably going to be the most awkward one I have ever made. Because there's music, there's some lyrics of music that everyone listens to but me. So I tried my best to do it, but it's going to sound terrible, and please do not give me any flack for it. And also, George, fuck you for making me do this. What the fuck, man? Anyways, let's continue, shall we? It's been an exhausting day, or rather an exhausting 2 days to say the least. I thought the holiday season meant less work, but that is a myth that was broken within my mind during the hell I have gone through. It's been 2 days since I've been able to see the rest of my family, but I suppose it's worth it to get a few more dollars in my pocket before the holiday season. Especially for the gift I want to send out. It's such a pain shopping, but I guess it is worth it to see, too, when I see the smiles I can put on a few faces. Hey, pull over for a moment, I say, seeing a nearby store I'd like to go into to search for a quick gift. Now of all times, I need to be back out to work again. At least you're getting a break. I don't have time to spare right now. I look next to meet the driver. What? I look next to me to meet the driver, shrugging my shoulders before sitting back and smiling. It's just about to strike midnight, probably seconds away. The empty urban streets are about to come to an end and change to suburbs to mark the way to the outskirts of town. Alright, I suppose you got a point. Keep going. I chuckle and reach to the side of the seat to find a small lever. When I get my fingers curled underneath it, I pull it up and let my seat fall back, completing my recliner-like posture by placing my hands on the back of my head, sandwiching them between my head and the headrest of the car seat. Always the relaxed one, aren't you? I hear a sarcastic voice attack me. What's the use of not being relaxed for now? If I were driving, you'd be snoring up a storm, and you know it. I smirk. I suppose you're right, I am answered with a slight snigger. Suppose? Don't insult my knowledge of you like that. Admit it. You'd be snoring loud enough to make people think the car engine is going bad when I drive by. I smirk again, closing my eyes and enjoy the lull of the car. You're extra witty today, aren't you? Who put you in a good mood? Nobody. Just prefer staying in a good mood is all. Don't need to go to Signal for a week, so that's a big plus. Oh, please. You love it there. Perhaps, but the company isn't the greatest. And by that I mean my colleagues. I counter before reaching for the dial on the radio and turning up the music upon hearing one of my favorite songs come on. Because, you know, I'm all about that... whatever. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. Damn it, not this shit again! I watch as he reaches for the dial and dart for his wrist. You change that dial and I will cut your wrist off, I yell before going back to my singing. Yeah, it's pretty clear. I ain't no size 2. But I can shake it. But I can shake it like I'm supposed to do. I begin laughing when I hear another voice cut me off and join in. No. I don't want to sing this song. The song is like the percentile of annoyance. And plus I'm not gonna sing it. I don't even know the song. Except for that first part of it. Because I got that boom boom that all the boys chase. And all the right junk in all the right places. I clench my stomach, laughing at the thought of 2 grown men singing to a popular pop song while driving a brand new Mercedes. Copyright. No copyright infringement intended. Quite the sight for some, while others would quickly recommend a doctor. Although I don't think on it too much. It's my turn to sing after all. I see the magazines working that Photoshop. We know that shit ain't real. Come on now, make it stop. The two of us continue singing back and forth, alternating and repeating the final lines of the chorus until the song ends, and we both let out a couple of healthy laughs. Yeah, I wasn't laughing, because I hate the song. Before I realized that we were in front of the house, and I reach into the back seat for my backpack, hauling it over to place on my lap. All right, here we are. Tell him I'm sorry I couldn't stick around, but duty calls. I hope they aren't too upset about it. He sighs while sliding the car into park. Ah, you worry too much. They have your attitude. Carefree as can be and pretty forgiving. Most of the time, anyway. I smile, opening the door before stepping out. I suppose you're right. See you all tomorrow, hopefully. He waves to me. Alright. Good luck, Tai. I whisper while I close the door. When I turn around and begin walking up the short path to the house, I can hear the roar of the engine of his car. Well, our car. We decided to split on its payment. I step up to the front steps, my bag hauled over my shoulder in my left hand while I reach into the back pocket of my jeans with my right hand to find the single key I keep to the house. You know what? Let me check first. Locking a door is not always a first memory. After I take out the key, I turn the doorknob slowly, not being surprised that it opens up, and I let out a soft sigh. Damn it. Well, I guess they were expecting both of us. Oh well. I step aside and close the door behind me, turning the handle when I close it to avoid it making a loud noise from the door closing. As I walk into the house, I can hear several footsteps upstairs, yet I can feel the presence of more than 2 people in the house. I reach over my shoulder and open my backpack, leaving it like that just in case, but still carrying it over my shoulder. I walk forward a few steps and turn right to go into the living room. When I enter the area and turn left, I see a slim girl, appearing to be a teenager to just be sitting around on the sofa. Although the moment I step in, I am met with a piercing, crystal-light stare. She has snow white hair that is tied into what appears to be a French braid, although in the dim lighting from the television only, it is hard to tell. Her outfit reminds me of an outfit I've seen before, although her outfit is a white and a light blue, while the one I recall is a mix of black and red, with black being the dominant color. Who is she? Wonder what she's doing here. Guess I should. Whoa! My eyes widen as I see her disappear in a blinding flash. At the same moment, I let go of my backpack, and as it falls, I slam my right hand into it and pull out what appears to be a simple foot-long staff. I do not get a second to breathe. I feel a chill erupt up my spine and quickly lift the staff to the back of my head, both hearing and feeling the sound of colliding metal before the presence disappears again. Why can't there ever be a peaceful night for me? Am I that bad? I sigh, closing my eyes while I exert my aura into the staff. The moment I do so, it expands to a mere 6 feet, but undergoes a few custom changes of my own accord. Along the top of the staff, it begins to arc in a smooth design, changing itself into a scythe, while at the bottom it makes a tight curl into something resembling more of a fishing hook. Little girl, I would greatly appreciate. I don't even get to finish my thought before I sense her presence again, still behind me. I twirl my extremely lightweight scythe with my fingers, catching the tip of her blade in the tight curl at the bottom of the shaft of my weapon, and with the same twirling motion I am able to pull the weapon that I am now able to recognize as a multi-action dust rapier from the girl's hand and send it across the room. With the weapon still twirling, I take a firm grip on it to stop its spinning motion and hold the curved blade to her neck, squeezing at her from over my shoulder. That weapon is Murder Master, isn't it? I ask without shifting my gaze or weapon. Her response is a slow nod, and I take a deep breath with that knowledge. And where did you get it? It is mine, she states with plenty of hostility in her voice, although I am holding a blade to her neck, so it is pretty understandable. And that would make you wise Schnee, wouldn't it? I sharpen my stare. It would, and kidnapping the heiress to the Schnee Dust Company is not a very wise decision. No, it isn't. It's a very wise decision, I would say. I grin at my own wordplay. I swear that's something Yang would say. She rolls her eyes, but still keeps her gaze on my hands and the blade. My niece always did value my sense of humor. I responded, slowly lowering my blade as a look of realization crosses her face. It's a pleasure to finally meet my other niece's partner in the flesh. You may call me Crow. I was expecting it to be Uncle Crow. I relax, absorbing my aura back from the staff and causing it to retract back into its dull form. I'm so sorry. I thought you were a robber and This is so embarrassing. She places her hands over her mouth, standing there in utter shock. It's not a problem at all. And if anything, thank you for protecting my brother-in-law's home and family. I reassure while I walk across the room to pick up the rapier. It has been years since I last laid eyes on it. I walk back and hold out the weapon to the well-known heiress, waiting patiently until she takes it and holsters it on her left hip. I'm really sorry, sir. I close my eyes, taking a slow breath. I can sense a very swift and low amplitude change in her aura. She's clearly nervous, although I cannot exactly pinpoint why. It is a simple mistake that many would not think too hard on, especially Schnee. If she takes anything after her father, then she could be just as cold and unwavering as the man himself. It's not a problem. Hey, Ruby, I whisper, looking at the door just before my niece comes around and into view. As usual, she has a cookie hanging in her mouth, left in place by her teeth. Though I am surprised to see that her usual red tips are instead dyed white. I guess she is in that experimental phase where she wants to branch out and express herself. Hopefully it isn't as bad as Yang. I chuckle as she chomps down the cookie and runs over to me and wraps her arms around my waist. I stand at 6'4", making me slightly tower over my niece and her friend she has told me about many times over the phone. You know, Ruby, next time you tell me your partner's name, perhaps including the last name would have assisted as well, and also telling her that your uncle likes to come in unannounced. I'd rather not walk into my brother's home and nearly get the back of my head or my right kidney poked out. I smiled, but it seems the visiting Schnee is not too happy with herself after the minor scuffle. Oh please, you probably saw it coming a mile away. When was the last time an attack ever connected to you? Don't get her all worried. Oh, and Merry Christmas Eve! I watch as Ruby returns her head and runs over to the snow-haired girl. Thanks for reminding me. It's 12:30 in the morning, but it is Christmas Eve. I need to find a gift for you two tomorrow. Crow, this is Weiss, my partner, and... I raised an eyebrow when a firm elbow was delivered to my niece's side. I closed my eyes, taking a soft breath. I sensed the two of their auras, amazed at the amount I am able to pick up in Weiss' Schnee. My niece has also improved a vast amount. Upstairs, within Yang's room, I could sense an aura level that is uncontrollable. That, of course, is my other niece. Yet the other is very tame and hard to detect even. The ability to suppress a presence is not easy, let alone doing so subconsciously. If it is being done subconsciously, it is. I'll worry about that later. For now, I shorten the range of my detection to focus more on Ruby and Weiss. Again, I feel an uneasiness from the heiress, yet a form of anxiousness from my niece. Apparently there is something Ruby wishes to tell me, but the other is reluctant to let that bit of information go. I suppose she finds me judgmental, but I am the furthest from it. At least I hope I am. I am not one to boast about myself, despite how amazing I surely am. I let my nieces do that for me. Well, if you aren't allowed to tell me, Ruby, I am sure Miss Schnee would be happier to say. Would she not? I open my eyes, looking at the snow-haired girl who turns her crystal blue eyes away from me. I'd rather not, at this moment, she speaks while carefully picking out her words. Not sure if she's worried about making a good first impression. Guess she doesn't know about the people I've had the unfortunate luck of meeting thanks to Yang's experimental phase. I see. Well then, I guess Ruby can say it. I smile, eager to continue prodding out for information. I'm a relaxed man, but I grow anxious when there is a mystery in the air. It's nothing unhealthy, but I have the curiosity of a child at times, I suppose. And then Detective Crow appeared. I wish I was there. Oh, Weiss and I aren't... Shut it, you dolt! But I begin to laugh at the brief exchange. I carefully walk past the two of them and sit myself on the couch, shaking my head with a smile plastered over my lips. To think someone is able to keep my fireball of a niece in check is a miracle of itself. Miss Schnee, Weiss is fine, please, she whispers, still unable to meet my gaze. Okay, Weiss. Believe me when I say there is nothing you need to keep hidden from me. If anything, I can find out from Yang, since I plan on finding out who is currently in her room with her at this moment. I watch as both of their eyes go wide, but Ruby's are the first to soften. I keep forgetting you could do that, she shouts with that adorable charm to her voice. You could do what? Weiss asks. Oh, Uncle Crow used to be a huntsman. He excelled at tracking and sensing aura. There isn't a person in life that could sneak up on him. My niece states proudly. Like I said, I let them do all the boasting for me. It lets me seem at least a little modest. Ruby, I think it may be best if you go get Yang, so she may come down and say hello to her uncle. But I wanted to... Ruby! Fine! Ruby answers, walking off while muttering under her breath while she makes her way up the creaky wooden steps across the hall from the living room doorway. Anyway, now that my niece is away, would you kindly tell me what it is that has you this nervous? I ask, leaning back against the sofa, my arms resting on the top of the soft leather. Excuse me? She asks, trying to play off the earlier display, but I can still sense her aura shivering for a lack of better words. I can read your aura levels and find if you are uneasy, as well as several other emotions, but I'd rather not begin telling you your own life story. I smile, standing up and disappearing to the kitchen a moment. I come back with a tall glass of water and see that Weiss is still standing in the same place, but with a stern look on her face that can rival her father's stare. Mr. Crow, Ruby and I are... The two of you are madly in love and are going out. Also explains the white tips. I state flatly, much to discomfort of my niece's partner. Did you know this entire time? She asked with the headlord, hiding her eyes behind her bangs. Actually, yes. She told me over the phone about 3 weeks or so. Said she couldn't wait for you to meet myself and her father's eye. I just figured it may be easier to say to me. Since I believe I am much more relaxed than my brother. Don't get me wrong, he's just as relaxed, but he is a bit protective of his little girls. I shrug my shoulders, taking a sip of my water once again. Then again, he usually just doesn't trust the guys that Yang used to bring home. Not sure, but he may feel more comfortable knowing his daughter is in the arms of an heiress. I hope so, she says, looking at the floor and kicking it. I'm serious about her, even though she is a cookie-addicted, jealous, lazy, hyperactive, and childish doll. It also makes her who she is. Hey, cookies are very addicting. Have you ever tried Summer's cookies? You'd be addicted too. Well, I am proud to give you the crow seal of approval. Now, I just have one more question for you. I smiled to myself, glad to feel a more relaxed state from Weiss. There we go. Sheesh, women are so uneasy around me. I guess I do have amazingly good looks. Yes, sir? Yuck, so quaint. Just call me Crow, I tell her, shivering at the thought of someone addressing me as sir. Or even just calling me mister. I just hate that word, sir. Anyway, who was the guy my daughter brought home this time? Actually, it's a girl and, well... Ew, 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 ew. I turn to the doorway, hearing rapid stomps down the steps and see my niece dashing through the doorway to bury her face into Aisha's shoulder, who in turn wraps her arms around my knees. Sorry, Ruby. I didn't think that one through. Weiss sighs, rubbing the back of my niece's head and making me chuckle. I see. My daughter's yet again found a girl. I wonder how long this one will last. I'd give it a week, and if it goes past then, well, I'll ask out that Glinda lady at Beacon next time I visit. I chuckle. Yang has never been one to stick to one person. I suppose she gets that from both of her parents. Her father's confident in his looks just like I am, on top of being very laid back. Her mother, wherever she is, was always a heartbreaker, flaunting off everything she had and making people gawk at what they would never have a chance at. My whispers before exchanging stares with my niece, and before I know it, the two are on the floor, laughing their asses off. Huh? What's so funny? I don't seem to get an answer, but eventually Yang walks through the doorway in their black basketball shorts and golden tank top. Just like me, she looks at the spectacle, then at me, back at the two on the floor, and finally back at me. So they laugh at your jokes but not mine? Not cool, Yang says while she hops into the couch and wraps her arms around my neck. Give me one of her bear hugs that barely makes me flinch. Still not sure if you're trying to break my neck with these hugs of yours, I chuckle, wrapping one arm around her back for the duration of the hug. Psh, of course not. I'm just trying to tweak it a little. She grins as she lets go. Nope, you're trying to kill your poor Uncle Crow. A defensive soul man with a little left in the tank. I fake a few sniffles. Oh please, you're a huntsman, an untouchable huntsman at that. And yet again, my niece has done the boasting for me. Well, a different niece this time. Only on the battlefield. Anyway, I told those two, if you and the most recent gal of yours last over a week, I'll last out that Glinda gal at your school. Yang looks at me dumbfounded, and seconds later she is rolling on the floor with the other two. What the hell is so funny about that? They think I won't ask her? Well, I won't need to ask her, but I swear, this is one rude reaction. Or maybe Glinda is really a man? Fuck. Are you Yang's father? I turn my head towards the doorway, amazed I didn't hear or feel the presence approaching at all. I am surprised to see a bow-wearing girl in a black yukata, something I also have not seen in a while. She has a firm, almost piercing amber gaze, yet her words are spoken with the complete opposite intention. No, actually, I am her uncle. And for some reason, I suppose I am also on my best comedy skit tonight. I gesture to the three girls that are dying from laughter on the floor. Well, I guess that means your sense of humor is better than Yang's. That's a good thing. She passes me a smile before sitting on the arm of the couch. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Blake Belladonna. I'm a student at Beacon, and the fourth member of Team RWBY. I am partners with Yang and I've been going out with her for over a month now. My jaw drops at her words. I carefully bring my hand up to my forehead and smash my forehead into my open palm. Not the first time I jump ahead of myself, and certainly it will not be the last. So, if I may ask, what is so funny? She whispers, or rather, I guess that is her normal tone. Hard to tell. First off, pleasure to meet you, Blake. Please, just call me Crow, or Mr. Crow, or just Mr. One of my jobs is teaching at Signal, so all of those names are familiar to me. I despise being addressed as Sir for personal reasons, and, well... I take a deep breath, slouching in the couch to face the ceiling. And apparently I'm asking out Glinda Goodwitch. Which may possibly be a man. Which possibly may be a man. Alright, that was a good chapter. That was refreshing. I actually did... So I actually read upon two different POVs this time around. Professor Osborne and Crow. I'm guessing I'm going to have to stop here for the session. I wanted to go up to chapter 40... I wanted to do chapters 43 to 45 after this one, but... I guess that won't happen. Anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this session. As part of the session, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm very sorry for the interruptions. Obviously, that's very natural, and I didn't expect my brother to come home early. I mean, usually he comes home like at 6 or 7, but I guess things just don't tend to go my way. Anyways, I'm glad to, be narrating more of this. It's been fun. Just narrating these past 6 chapters I've been reading for the past past 2 hours. And, well, yeah, that's all I have to say. I pretty much said everything that I wanted to do in the last video, so I have nothing else to say. Well, that's it for this part of the session. Well, I mean, that's it for this session. I might start up another session a week later. So, that's it. Stay classy, everybody, and if you guys like this, if you guys like what I'm doing, make sure you press that like button, and if you like it enough, press that subscribe button. Alright, by the way, I'm going to tell you guys right now, expect an update to come in. It's going to mostly be about what I was talking about earlier, but in a more in-depth sort of thing. Like in the last video, I mean. Expect an update about that. It's going to be more in-depth than how I said in that one, because I was already like going over an hour when I did that. So yeah, expect a update video, and I'll see you guys later. Once again, stay classy, you all, and don't forget to laugh at Uncle Crow's comedy skits, because apparently they are really funny. Alright, I'm just gonna go now.